As the sun dipped behind the mountains, painting the sky in hues of burnt orange and deepest blue, a young girl named Elara hurried through the bustling marketplace. Baskets of ripe blueberries, fresh loaves of bread, and strings of colorful beads jostled for space beside stacks of polished wooden toys and gleaming glass candy. The air buzzed with the chatter of merchants and shoppers, the laughter of children, and the rhythmic clang of a nearby blacksmith's hammer. It was market day in Sunhaven, and everyone was out in force. Suddenly, a piercing shriek split the air. Elara, startled, spun around to see a frantic woman clutching a broken music box. "Please," she cried, voice shaking, "can anyone fix this?" The music box lay open on the woman's palm, its once cheerful tune silenced by a tangle of loose wires and a shattered glass pane. Elara, known throughout the town for her gift of mending broken objects, felt a pang of sympathy. Stepping forward, she knelt beside the woman and gently examined the damaged toy. "Don't worry," she said soothingly, her voice as calm and steady as the North Star. "We'll get you a new tune before the day is done." With a reassuring smile, she took the music box from the grateful woman and headed toward her workshop, a cozy nook tucked away at the end of a cobblestone street. Inside, surrounded by an enchanting jumble of tools, half-finished projects and rescued treasures, Elara got to work. As she carefully untangled the wires and replaced the shattered glass, she hummed a merry tune, her brow furrowed in concentration. Every creak and scrape of her tools echoed softly in the still workshop, a gentle melody of creation. As the last rays of sunlight began to fade, casting long shadows across the room, Elara finished her repairs. She wound the key and the music box burst into life, filling the workshop with a playful little tune. Elara beamed, her heart swelling with satisfaction. She loved nothing more than breathing new life into forgotten objects, infusing them with a renewed purpose and a touch of magic. As she handed the repaired music box back to its owner, who was beaming from ear to ear, a sudden commotion erupted outside her workshop. Startled, Elara and the woman rushed to the window to peer out onto the street. What they saw made their jaws drop in astonishment. The usually bustling marketplace was now a scene of utter chaos. Market stalls lay overturned, baskets lay strewn across the ground, and townsfolk milled about in panicked groups, their faces etched with confusion and fear. Above the din, Elara heard a voice booming across the square, as clear and commanding as a temple bell. "By order of the Grand Clockmaker, all clocks and timepieces are to be surrendered immediately." The speaker, a stern-faced man clad in black robes, stood atop a nearby statue, his voice echoing ominously over the crowd. "Your time has come to an end," the woman gasped, her hand flying to her mouth. "My husband," she exclaimed. "He'll be here any minute with the market takings. If he doesn't hide the clock, they'll take him away." Taking a deep breath to steady herself, Elara knew exactly what she had to do. Leaving the astonished woman at the window, she dashed to the back of her workshop and emerged with a battered wooden chest. Its surface adorned with faded carvings and tarnished metal accents, or silent testament to years of faithful service. With trembling hands, she heaved the chest open, revealing an array of meticulously crafted clocks, each one a symphony of whirring gears, ticking pendulums and harmonious chimes. Among them, her gaze fell upon a magnificent grandfather clock, its rich mahogany frame intricately carved with mythical creatures and celestial charts. Atop its surface, two cherubic figures danced playfully, seemingly oblivious to the turmoil unfolding outside. This was Elara's most prized possession, a timeless heirloom passed down from her late grandfather, renowned throughout the land for his mastery of clockmaking. Its chime resonated with an otherworldly beauty, said to hold a fragment of starlight captured in its resonant depths. As Elara gazed upon its timeless elegance, she remembered her grandfather's words. "A clock is more than just a timekeeper," he'd often say, his eyes twinkling with wisdom. "It's a vessel of memories, a keeper of stories and a whisperer of dreams." But now, faced with the looming threat of the Grand Clockmaker's decree, Elara knew that her grandfather's cherished legacy might soon be extinguished, lost to the merciless gears of the tyrannical ruler's grand design. Torn between honoring her heritage and protecting her home, Elara pondered her next move. The thought of losing her connection to her beloved grandfather filled her with dread. Yet the plight of her townsfolk and the looming danger to her friends and family weighed heavily on her heart. As the echoes of the Grand Clockmaker's ultimatum reverberated through the town, Elara understood that she couldn't stand idly by. With a resolute gleam in her eye and a determined set to her jaw, she tucked the key to her grandfather's clock safely away, knowing that in the hands of the ruthless tyrant it would become a symbol of oppression rather than a conduit of cherished memories. Now, armed with her wits and a secret weapon forged in the fires of her ancestors' ingenuity, Elara prepared to confront the Grand Clockmaker and reclaim the stolen time of her people. Now, donning a hooded cloak that concealed her features, she slipped quietly out of her workshop and into the labyrinthine warren of twisting alleys and cobblestone streets that made up the heart of Sunhaven. With each step, the weight of her mission pressed upon her, fueling her determination to restore balance to her town. As she navigated the shadowy pathways, the faint sounds of resistance carried on the night breeze, stoking a growing ember of hope within her. For Elara was not alone. Throughout Sunhaven, a silent rebellion was stirring, awakened by the Grand Clockmaker's tyranny and united by the shared dream of a brighter tomorrow. And so, under the cloak of darkness, Elara joined forces with fellow townsfolk, each carrying their own burdens, fears, and hopes for a better future. Together, their voices, though hushed, grew in strength and solidarity, weaving a tapestry of courage that defied the oppressive silence imposed by the regime. As the night deepened and the stars twinkled overhead, the ragtag assembly gathered in a hidden clearing, far from the prying ears of the Grand Clockmaker's enforcers. Here, in the hushed embrace of the moonlit woods, Elara revealed her plan. Her idea was audacious, risky, yet brimming with a quiet brilliance that resonated with the assembled townsfolk. Each person present, touched by Elara's infectious determination and the promise of a life reclaimed, pledged their support to the daring endeavor. And so, under the watchful gaze of the ancient trees and the silvery light of the moon, a secret society of timekeepers was born, sworn to liberate Sunhaven from the clutches of the tyrannical Grand Clockmaker. Now, armed with the unwavering spirit of camaraderie and a shared love for their town, the members of the clandestine society prepared for their perilous mission, each step fueled by the hope of a dawn that would ring with freedom and the joyous chime of restored time.